I've been that man of addiction, that man of depression that's just lie there in bed waiting for something to miraculously happen and fall into my hands, expecting miracles, expecting life to be fair, but it's not. Death happens, stubbed toes happen, that asshole in the traffic jam happens, life will slap you in the face, and we can lie there and say, oh my God, poor pitiful me.
Gentlemen, what's going on? We've stubbed our toes, we've smashed our fingers, we've been stuck in that traffic jam behind the guy that keeps slamming on his brakes. And on a more personal level, we've dealt with heartbreak, we've dealt with loss, we've dealt with death. This is the Better Man channel, where we choose to remove ourselves from that cowering shadow of existence that says, poor pitiful me, what's the meaning of life? It's out just to get me. So I'm just going to confine myself to this little box of existence, and I'm going to live with regret, envy, and jealousy and bitter, and I'm just going to lash out at those that say yes to life. How many of us have been there? We've allowed that hurt, we've allowed that pain to transform our life into some substandard existence, right? We feel less than, but we begin to make excuses and come up with reasons to justify why we are not living. If only those ignorant people knew that life has no purpose. If only those idiots knew how stupid they look. Right? We've been there, but that's not the mentality of man. That's not the spirit of man. That's not what we were created to be. Everybody from Jesus to Buddha to the Stoics of the past have recognized that life is suffering. It is difficult. It is painful. There come some unexpected things that will shake you to the very core. But what they all had in common is that there's purpose in that we find points in that, we find meaning in that, we find a foundation of overcoming what would apparently be out to dissuade us from living a potential life. And I think that's where the current state of society is. We've handed out gold stars, we've handed out participation trophies, we've taught people that life should be fair and that it is. And so when adversity pops up, as it will, that's life, we see a lot of people shirking away from the opportunity to overcome that. We see people resigning themselves to the sidelines of life, but that's not what you're called to do. That's not what I want to be. That's not the existence or the plane of existence that I want to live in, because we live in a world of mediocrity. And it's the easiest time, I believe, in history to actually step up and overcome that. And that's where we are as a state of men. We live in a mediocre society where people are weak, people are soft. Nobody wants to get uncomfortable. Nobody wants to face that discomfort and pain that allows them to actually move forward, to transform from that shadowy coward into actually some resemblance of what a man should be, what a man is. And so we have to ask ourselves, are we facing the day, or are we allowing the day to confront us and slap us in the face? And Seneca said that sometimes the most courageous thing we can do is to live, right? And so the question is, am I living? And if I'm honest with myself, man, I haven't lived. I haven't faced the day. I've allowed the day to face me and to punch me in the face without swinging back. And I've used those excuses that, oh man, that horrible tragedy occurred, or there's just too much pain, or, you know, that person has did this to me, or if only that situation would have lined up better, then I'd be in a better position to live a better life. And I come up with these excuses, but actually I'm bitter, I'm angry, I'm resentful. And that leaves me with a lot of regrets. Man, I should have did this. I should have overcame that. I could have used that as an opportunity. But in today's culture, we use that excuse of pain. We use that excuse of heartbreak. Man, she broke my heart, or, you know, I lost too much, and so there's no point. But like Seneca said, sometimes the most courageous thing we can do is choose to live. And that's the question. Are you living? Or have you confined yourself to this safe, neat little box? It's just a mediocre living, but there's really no chance of pain. I don't get close to anyone, so because, you know, they can't hurt me. I don't take that risk, so I'm not going to lose anything because I haven't risked anything. I don't allow people in because, well, it's nice and comfortable in here and it's going to be okay. I don't take the chance. I don't risk anything because then there's no chance of loss. There's no chance of rejection. There's no chance of failure. But I'm still angry, pissed off. I'm having this midlife crisis because damn, what's the point? And I'm tired of being that man that's in a box asking myself what the point. The point is to get out of the box. And yes, there's pain, there's hurt, there's loss out there. Somewhere along the lines, this generation has been taught that life is fair, that you should expect gold stars just for showing up. No, just showing up is not enough. We don't get up and just allow the day to happen. We get up and make the day happen. We have to be those men with that spirit of manhood, that masculinity, that virility, that strong, energetic spirit that says, what can I do today to become a better person? I've been that man of addiction, that man of depression that's just lay there in bed waiting for something to miraculously happen and fall into my hands, expecting miracles, expecting life to be fair, but it's not. Death happens, stubbed toes happen, that asshole in the traffic jam happens, life will slap you in the face and we can lie there and say, oh my God, poor pitiful me, or we can get up and say, what the hell can I do today? How can I explore the opportunities out there? And yes, the unexpected things are going to happen. Death's going to happen. Heartache's going to happen. Heart loss is going to happen. Pains are going to happen. You're going to smash your damn toe. But think about all the things that we have endured and how rewarding that is. Think of the things that you've overcame. Think of one damn thing that you've overcame in your life and think how satisfying that is. Damn, I was strong enough to overcome that. And think about the lessons learned from that. You know, I think of the tragedies that have happened in my life and how that actually has made me a better person because I chose it to. And again, life isn't fair. And man, I wish that, you know, the deaths in my life wouldn't have happened. I wish the choices that I made wouldn't have happened. But they did prepare me for harder things to come. They did prepare me for a mindset that's a little more resilient. And so I'm thankful for that because, like it or not, life is not fair and bad things are going to happen. And the earlier I lean into those pains and those discomforts and recognize them for what opportunities they have to teach me, what lessons can be learned in those situations, then the better prepared I am, the more apt I am to face adversity when it happens instead of pulling the sheets over my head, praying they'll go away. Because as all great men from Jesus to Buddha, the Stoics have said that life is suffering. And if you learn nothing else in life, learn from all the great men of the past that have said life is hard. Can we get harder? Can we pick up the burden that we're able to carry, shoulder that with some integrity, shoulder that with some responsibility, and become the men that we know we're capable of becoming, become the men that we were created to be? And we have to begin to explore this wide open world instead of confining ourselves to a box because it's safe and comfortable in there. Think of anyone that's successful. They got out of their comfort zone. They used rejection. They used failure. They used their flaws as lessons and stepping stones to become stronger. And that's the lesson here. Every one of us has adversity. Every one of us has some pain. All great people have used those as stepping stones. We've got to begin to take on that mindset that this isn't a hindrance, it's actually an opportunity to separate myself from the crowd of mediocrity that's just lying there waiting for a miracle to fall from the sky. They're going to be waiting their whole damn lives because another failure is going to come, another unexpected thing's going to come, and they're just going to be kind of shirking away from that opportunity to rise up and stand, by God, I'm a man, how can I use this for motivation to become the badass that I was created to be? And that's key there too. We all recognize those people that use failures, that use heartaches to motivate them to become a more successful person. The dude goes through a heartbreaking relationship where the woman cheated on him and just used him and threw him to the side. So he uses that for motivation to build his body into this machine, to build his mindset into this machine that can endure anything. We see those people that have told, you can't do it, you'll never achieve anything, you're not smart enough, and they become these great entrepreneurial persons with these great ideas that innovate and change the very landscape around them because they didn't fold and quit and give up because it was painful, because it was uncomfortable. They use that for motivation, and by God, we all have those pains. We all have the ammunition to begin to use for that fuel to our fire that's going to ignite us to actually do something, be something. I'm tired of sitting in the shadows and sitting on the sidelines and not getting in the game because it's easier to say, oh, them idiots don't know what's coming. The people in the game actually get to enjoy playing. And that doesn't mean there's not some cuts, some scrapes, some bruises, some losses. But in the end, they're better and stronger for it because they're actually playing the game. And I'll be the first to admit, I've been on the sidelines looking at them thinking, man, I wish I was out there having as much fun as they are, but I'm just too scared. And so I never get to enjoy the strength that comes from playing the game. I never get to enjoy the victories because I'm on the sidelines saying, oh, it's safe. Right? If I don't get in the game, I don't have to risk taking a loss. But I also never enjoy the opportunity to win. Life is painful. And like Seneca said, sometimes the most courageous thing you can do is just get up and live. I want to be a man that lives. Life is short, and I don't want to be stuck in regret. I don't want to stuck in bitterness or angry because life's not fair. News flash. It's not fair, so what am I going to do to turn it into my favor, to create and carve out a space for me that is actually rewarding, enjoyable? We see a lot of people that have living in solitude, but they're not living enjoyable lives, and they're kind of those keyboard ninjas in the comment section of the videos that always have a proven point because of this stat and this survey, and that's why I'm playing it safe. Well, you're living a less than substandard life. You're that dude in the vehicle in front of me slamming on your brakes because you're pissed off that I'm actually trying to live life. We all have pain. We all have uncomfortable, unexpected things and tragedies and traumas. How can we begin to explore those, to understand those, and to begin to use those as ammo and fuel to ignite that fire that moves us towards something meaningful, right? There's no denying that there's something in our life that has upset us, that's uncomfortable, but can we use that to move us towards something that resembles a life that we want? Instead of coming up with excuses, instead of saying, it's too painful to pursue that, right? Where there's no risk, there's no opportunity for gain. So take some risk, get outside of your comfort zone, rip up that box, use it for fire, and start being the man that you know you're capable of being. I love you. I respect you. You guys will hear from me next episode.